Hello and welcome to episode 43 of Rival Banter. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Croft. Joining me, as always, my esteemed co host and lead meteorologist, ladies and gentlemen, Seth Martin.
I could do a better job than these computers do nowadays. My God.
How's the weather up your way?
Oh, it's frozen solid, baby. I'm like not a particularly heavy guy, but like I'm a grown man, around about 200 pounds. I'm sneaking up on 200, and my foot, like my full body weight plus that of my dog. If I'm like carrying her or whatever, I cannot dent to this ice outside of my house. It's rock solid. I kind of love it. It's beautiful. Haven't left the house in 3 days. It's been kind of cool.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like pretty to look at, but you can't go out and like play in it with your kids or whatever, so you don't feel forced to get out there in it.
Yeah, I kind of dig that too. We got out the first day and it was fun. Fun enough, but it was also super cold. 7 degrees here in Virginia last night. I think it's down to like 15 right now, maybe something like that, 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think it got down to like 3 here last night, and it's a nice 27 right now. So it's a pretty warm, almost spring-like.
My computer may be wrong. It says 24 right now, actually, but the low is 9.
Mm. Yeah, we got next to nothing here.
That's
Like
crazy.
we got like a little covering of ice and made the grass crunchy, but that was about it. And then it was so windy up here, like nothing stuck to the road. So
Wow. Yeah, we've got like a nice solid, probably 2, 3 inches of just ice on the ground. They tried to pave my road today, and it was just like it didn't do anything. It was just looks exactly the same.
yeah, my brother called me because he lives up your way, and he told me this was Friday. He was like, "Yeah, man, I saw on the weather they were calling for like 32 inches of snow." I was like, "What the fuck? There's no way they were calling for 32." Apparently, at one point last week they were, but
Yeah, when I saw it, it was like 18 to 21 or something like that, which is still wild for this area. And of course, it was nowhere near that. They are calling for more snow this weekend, though.
yeah.
So, like, school's starting to try to prepare us for that. Like, get your virtual stuff in line. We're supposed to have a faculty meeting tomorrow, a virtual faculty meeting.
Mm,
I'm just going to be chilling here in my basement.
no pants.
Well,
We'll see. Oh man. All right. Well, hopefully wherever you guys are listening from, you stayed safe during the winter storm. And yeah, I'm ready for spring. That was my one winter storm for the season, and I'm ready to move on from it. But this is Rival Banter. We get together every week and talk about all things Marvel Rivals and push it out to you guys on podcast services and YouTube. Just search up Rival Banter and follow us on social media at Rival Banter on TikTok and Instagram. Seth, I we've had some videos that have done well in the past. Um, But had you told me that posting a video about the characters I like to play when smoking the ganja would get over 100,000 views over on Instagram, I would have been surprised.
yeah, I saw that, and I think I saw it before you. I was like, "My god." And then I kinda had a jealous moment, like, "Well, maybe I should start smoking weed," because, none of the videos I ever put out there ever track at all, but it's fine. I've gotta be careful what I say out there in the world.
Mhm. Yeah, and it was surprising to me just how many people related to the sentiment that I was sharing, that I was not alone in my playing of Cloak and Dagger in my mind altered state. So uh, we're going to go to some viewer comments here in just a little bit to talk about that. But before we do that, make sure you are following us on all those social media platforms that you're listening to us over on Spotify. And if you're listening, leave us a 5-star review over there. It really helps us out. And then if you haven't yet, make sure you head on over to our Discord server. Links are going to be in the description below. We've got a number of people in there hanging out, talking about talking about rivals, talking about the weather, talking about high guard. I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, if you join by the end of this month, you'll get the esteemed founders role. So just a couple days left to join over there to get that role. But regardless, whenever you choose to join, come on over, hang out, tell us who you main and what platforms you play on, and maybe you'll find some friends to play with. But all right, Seth, let's jump into some viewer comments. And I'm going to kick us off with this one from Spotify. Um, and it's from Vinny G, who said, "Yo, did you guys really just sum up the Kingsman $40,000 incident like that? There was way more into that story you missed out and worth talking about. Go watch Kingsman 265's hour-long video on why he got kicked out of that tourney. It has so much stuff like an overzealous boyfriend, a clueless organizer, threats and fake apologies, Israel, and the whole thing blowing up mainstream." Um, First of all, Vinny, thank you for the comment. Second of all, I would rather lobotomize myself than watch an hour long overview of streamer drama. So I'm probably not going to do that. But I will say this: we recorded the episode on Tuesday evening, and not all of this stuff had really come out and like gotten. So we were kind of just going off of one article that we saw. I'm not a big streamer drama guy, so I really just added it in for the discussion around like Black Widow. But obviously, that story blew up, went mainstream. The Israel thing was not an exaggeration. Somebody compared uh, supporting Kingsman to supporting it. It was crazy. But anyway,
Yeah,
Seth, go ahead.
to show, like, how much I think we really, like, invested in that story, like, emotionally, we talked about it on Tuesday. I think I was at esports practice Wednesday afternoon after school, and, I'm playing a couple rounds of quick play, and somebody kept saying, like, "Zaza forever." They kept saying "Zaza, Zaza, Zaza" in the chat, and I was like, "Who the fuck is Zaza?" And apparently I had talked about her just hours before, basically, but just it wasn't tracking. Not only like within a day or two after playing, countless matches, just people have changed their names to Zaza. It's just been a whole thing. It really did blow up, and I think we really didn't count on it much at all.
Yeah. Um, I think there's one thing worth reminding or informing maybe our listeners of, and that is that I am a 35-year-old man. Seth, you're 35 as well, right?
Hmm.
Um, and at some point in your adult life, you just get to the point where you can't invest a whole lot of time in stories that involve someone named like some letters followed by some numbers. So uh the whole like go watch this hour long video. I saw that Flats did like a 6 hour breakdown of all of the evidence within this. It's like none of that stuff interests me. I think streamer drama is most of the time pretty manufactured or at least like taken advantage of anyway in order to grow platforms and stuff like that. But I really kind of I don't know, maybe I relate to the sentiment of like, wow, this is big news for the unemployed. This stuff going on with Zaza, because it's just like, yeah. But that being said, I will say this. After seeing some of the stuff that's come out, I've obviously like informed myself of some of the nuance of the situation. Um, but I just am not going to invest that much time. I was wrong in my initial take. We were talking a lot about Kingsman being in the wrong and how uh, you know, why would you be toxic in a tournament like this, especially just when it's like a creator tournament, that sort of thing. All the stuff that's come out subsequently about the bullying that took place, how yeah, he might have been a little aggressive about asking people to change and saying it over and over, but then his whole team just took an hour to roast him and lay into him and then like did the sneaky behind the back thing of getting him kicked out of the tournament and all that. That's all really shitty stuff. And it really just comes down to the fact that it's like at some point everybody's got to grow up. And when you have like conflict with people, the best way to handle it is kind of head on and directly and to talk about it. Not in these kinds of backhanded ways. And so I think if you were to ask Kingsman if he would do anything different or have this situation play out any different, he would say absolutely not, because his stream has blown up since then. He had, but all that just to say, I was wrong in my initial assessment of the situation. That people were kind of shitty all around. I've got some other thoughts on it, but Seth, did you have a chance to look into this anymore? Did you have any additional thoughts?
Zero thoughts. Everything I have learned about this situation, I have garnered from you and from Larry, still in flux. So I'm just kind of there. I feel like I have even less patience for this kind of stuff than you do, just because it is a huge part of my existence, working with children, with high school age children, like ninth grade, 14, 15-year-old children. Yeah, I'm beyond over it in a
Yeah,
lot
and a
of ways.
lot of this drama feels very like
Hmm.
parallel
Hmm.
to that age group. I'll give a couple final thoughts, and then we're just going to move on from it because again, I don't like streamer drama. Seth doesn't like streamer drama, but I'll say these two things. Number one, uh, I do kind of hate that it has infiltrated the community so much that it's just like becoming part of the vernacular. Um, and games have these sorts of things. Like we still say like, oh no, they just C9, right? Because of the like old C9 Overwatch days when they gave up a point. Like sometimes these things seep into the vernacular of a gaming audience. It feels a little weirder with it just being a person like that you're naming with the Zaza thing, and how it just is another layer of weird toxicity within the community that is just, I think, going to be a part of it for the rest of all time now. Like I think Zaza is just going to creep its way in, and so I don't know. I wish we could just kind of move on from the topic as a whole, like as a community, and not have to memify everything and make this situation that at the end of the day really doesn't matter all that much into something that you know sticks around with us. Like we're blowing it up more than it needs to. But I think that's really all I'm going to say about the situation. I got some other thoughts, but I think everything that's been said on this topic that is worth being said on this topic has been said by somebody already. So let's move on and talk about the game, which is why we do this podcast, because we like the game. So we posted up a video talking about how the community is kind of split on whether or not Deadpool's constant talking in matches is annoying or not. And we got a couple comments here from Smiley Face over on I think this was TikTok, said it wouldn't be bad if he had more voice lines. It's just annoying listening to him say the same thing over and over. And then Bleps over on TikTok said, I don't even mind the dialogue, but Galacta is twice as loud as everything else in the game since she's only supposed to talk at certain points, and having her talk more drowns out so much. And I thought this was a great point, Seth, because I hadn't really noticed it until after I read the comment. But now every time we play in a game with Deadpool, I'm like, holy shit, Galacta's loud. It's like
Yeah, I haven't
sometimes I
thought of
don't even hear Deadpool.
Yeah, I haven't really thought of it that way either. I guess there's no way to really change the balance of that, like for specific comments. Um, yeah, that probably will make it a lot more annoying for me moving forward from now. I was pretty, I think, neutral or kind of like forgiving of it. The whole Deadpool thing last week. I do get that though. Like, I just kind of, especially when I'm playing, I do tend to have my like chat volume a little louder than my game volume, and so it kind of drowns out some of the banter from time to time, in favor of like the team communication. So I kind of miss out on some of that stuff when it's happening. Otherwise it probably would bug the hell out of me a lot more.
Yeah. And I think the Galacta thing is probably more about just where her like audio track sits in the mix, just because her voice lines have to be heard everywhere clearly by everybody, whereas like when the characters are talking it's more based off of proximity. So
Hmm.
I don't know what the fix is to that, if that's part, like if that's how they wanted it to be. If that's how they wanted it to be, that's weird too. But I don't know, I think it's kind of You know how we have that thing within our friend group, Seth? Well, we will start a joke that we just lay into heavy, and then it becomes not funny, and but we keep going with it. That it's like comes back around to being funny.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like that's kind of where it is with like these voice lines for me, where it's like in the beginning you either hardly notice them, or it's a novel idea and it's entertaining. Then over time it might become a little bit annoying, but then as more and more time goes by, it all just kind of fades into the background. And that's how it is for me with this stuff. Like I hardly notice Galacta and Deadpool at this point, except for now the audio balance thing that's you know given a renewed sense of annoyance for me, but I'm sure
Right.
that'll fade with time as well.
Oh yeah.
Then we have a couple comments here from the video that popped off on Instagram. And Ever Taken Photo says, I'm going to be real. Not having to aim is kind of more fun, less stressful, and better for a casual game. I agree with that. Who's your
Yeah.
kind of autopilot character, Seth?
I mean, for me, I don't know if I really have one of the. I guess Squirrel Girl, because I mean, like we've said before, I just kind of when I get on her, like, yeah, you can play her strategically and try to either use her kind of more of a sniper or kind of try to get her down there and she's getting down and dirty in the fray. But yeah, I mean, you can really just hold the right trigger down and just let her work for you in a lot of ways. She's like the stock market. Squirrel Girl is my stock market.
Mm, yes, yes. You haven't lorded Squirrel Girl yet, have you?
No, no, I think I'm sneaking up on Centurion or something like that.
Nice, nice. Party Snack says, You're so fucking real for this. I'll switch to Luna and go, Yep, not tonight. Back to Jeff. Yeah, I have plenty of those nights. Dude, we'll talk more about our weekend rivals, but I think I'll tell the story here. We played a game earlier this week where it was a ranked game. Our team had a cloak and dagger. It had somebody on the team who wanted a cloak and dagger. And so I was like, okay, I'll Gambit. Gambit gets banned, and I'm like, okay, I'll Invis, and then Invis gets banned. So we have our Cloak and Dagger, our Invis, and Gambit all banned, which are my three strategist mains. Um, I tried to play Luna. It was the worst game of. It was probably the worst hero shooter game I've ever played in my life between Rivals and Overwatch. I was like, I had like half the healing of our other healer. Like I don't know what was going on. It was fucking terrible, and I was legitimately the only reason we lost that match. So yeah, I
I
just
don't think that's
locked in
true,
Cloak
but
and
I
Dagger.
mean, I do understand the feeling there. I do think Jeff kind of is the other Cloak and Dagger, though. Like, even though you do have to aim him, he's like his piss stream is so
Mm.
forgiving that I think, yeah, it kind of serves the same purpose in a lot of ways. I like that comment.
Yeah, and Jeff is also very the sensory experience of Jeff is very satisfying because you get like the constant little ticking of the heels, but you're also getting the constant little ticking of damage since you can spray through a bunch of people. I haven't played a ton of Jeff, but I get the appeal of him uh, more than a lot of other characters.
I need to get back into my Jeff. I think I feel like so overwhelmed with some of these changes to the Lord system because like I used to be kind of incentivized to branch out and play others more because I wanted to get that Lord progress. Now I'm just like I can play whoever I want, and the freedom is damning in a lot of ways. Like there's so much to do and there's so little time, but it's such a good thing too because I'm never ever gonna get bored with this game.
Yeah, this game's funny because before the new Lord system, right? Most of the time I'd finish my weeklies on Friday, right when it all reset, and like most of the time I don't really have anything to play for, but for some reason, man, this game just is like it doesn't matter if you progress in any way. But now adding that extra carrot on the stick to these characters that I love to play but had maxed out before is incredible. I do wonder if it might uh you know do you think we will get more one tricks, or people just like totally unwilling to play other characters and branch out because there's so much you can unlock and achieve with a single character?
I don't know. I feel like I mean this. could have the opposite effect. I mean, I don't really know. I feel like kind of opening it up this way. I guess it depends on how you play the game initially. For me, like it's kind of making me want to play more characters, and not necessarily grind like one to try to work towards a lord. But I could also kind of see it the other way. Like I really want that frame and or that kind of dynamic um player card or whatever, the player image, and so they're just going to grind out for that. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see how it shakes out in the next few weeks or so, moving forward. Really, other than that, that's about all I've got.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about our week in Rivals. And I'm going to talk about another game too, in this area because it's another hero shooter. But Seth, what'd you get up to this week?
I've been playing, kind of dabbling in a few different things. Being iced in has made me kind of like I've been doing other stuff like playing old Star Wars games, probably more than jump like the PS2, PS1 era Star Wars games, in the PS Plus catalog. Other than that, I've been playing some Rivals. We got up to when we talked last week. Had we finished our placement matches? Were we in? Uh,
No, no, we kind of.
okay.
I think. Yeah. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So yeah, we did play enough to we finished up placement. We went on an awesome win streak of like 7 competitive wins, and got into 6 or 7, if you will, and ended up placing, I think, gold 1, and then within an evening we were on to plat 2, like mid plat 2, and so we're in a nice comfortable plat spot. I think we are. This is the earliest I think we've been at plat in a few seasons. Not that we've played that much competitive in the past few seasons, other than season 5. So yeah, I think it's an exciting place for us. We just need to not lose momentum. I think we
Yeah.
the past few days we've been dragging our heels a little bit.
Yeah. Well, over the weekend we played with Larry, and where he's on, PC, we can't play ranked. And then last night I decided to try High Guard, the new hero shooter that was revealed at the Game Awards. I'll give some more thoughts on that here in just a minute. But no, dude, the win streak felt great. It's been a long time since I think we ripped off, 7 in a row like that, and just seeing our rank tick up was great. Um, it was funny because after that terrible Luna game, I think I lost like 30 points. We won the next game, and I think I only gained 18. I think the game just, for some reason, thought that Luna game was representative of everything I am as a player, and
They were
decided to,
punishing you.
yeah,
Yeah.
decided to punish me. Um, but no, outside of that, I've just been like running some different DPS heroes in like 18v18, just because I don't have a very deep DPS bag and I want to get comfortable with a few other characters. I've been trying Squirrel Girl. I've tried, let's see, who else have I been playing? A little bit of like Storm. And I really want to try to learn Wolverine because I'm getting,
Mhm.
because I've been playing a lot of Rogue in like regular games, and I'm starting to really like that kind of aggressive run at you play style. And I think Wolverine might be a good choice on the DPS side to get that same feeling. But uh, got my Lord Mag as well, which took me for fucking ever.
That was a long lord. Yeah.
One thing about the new Lord system that I do like is I do think it like gives you more incremental progress quicker. So because
Hmm.
it's like rather than 60 minutes of playtime on a character, you get points for every 15 minutes that you play. So you just kind of get that nice little feeling of completion there. But
Constant creep or like a trickle. Like it just kind of feels
mhm,
good. You just again like just constant serotonin buffs all around.
yeah, this game is good at that. so, uh, but yeah, so that's been my weekend rival. Seth, have you seen anything about this High Guard game?
I'd heard of it. I had to I had to Google it to remember what it was. I haven't watched any streams or anything. But after, yeah, I skipped playing that last night and just kind of took some time to read, try to catch up, finish up some shows and stuff like that. And so, laying in bed, I just opened up my phone. I went to Polygon and read an article about it. It was like at the top of the page, and they were like, "This game is awesome. It's like one of the best shooters in years." And I was like, Hmm. All right. And sure enough, like today, as I was like thinking about going and installing it, you post in the Rival Banter Discord about how ass the game is. And I was, huh. And then Larry said he loved it, and I was like, huh. And so it is polarizing. I've since read other articles. I think Polygon posted another article today or so that talked about how kind of divisive the game is, because players are decidedly pretty negative, but some are kind of on the fence. And then I think it's got like a 32% thumbs up rate on Steam or something like that. The concurrent players dropped like immediately when the game launched. They went from like 900 and some thousand to like 20,000 within a day. And then, apparently the critics that have reviewed it already have praised the hell out of it. They love it. And so I feel like it's one of those things, you run into this with movies a lot where critics love it, audiences hate it, or vice versa. Like
Mm.
the critics hate it, and you go see the movie, and you were like, "That was all right." I don't know why they had to just trash that thing. It was fine.
I think these sorts of games though are like patently hard for a like outlet reviewer to get a good grasp on because they are much more likely to like look at the game from a technical angle or an art style angle or those sorts of things versus some people like us who only play a handful of games at any given time are looking for like the next thing to get their hooks get its hooks in you. And so I think I can get where it's like, hey, I'm going to play this game for like 3 hours, give it a review because there's not like a lot of options. There's only one game mode, that sort of thing. So I can see how a short time with it, not viewing it that way, you can walk away with some positives of it. However, that being said, I stand by what I said in the Discord, which is that I think this game is ass. We played for like 2.5 hours last night. Larry and I did. If you want to check out the game, you can check out Still in Flux's stream from last night. He played it on stream. Um, and I think there's just a lot that's wrong with it. First of all, it's a giant ass map, and you're playing 3v3, and the world just feels really, really empty. And it's not like there's a lot of diverse loot in the game either. Like you have chests that have shields, and then you have chests that have weapons. And that scales as the game goes on, but not in any kind of like imaginative way. It's just like, here's a pistol, and now here's a gold pistol that is like more accurate and does more damage.
Hmm.
Um, so I think it's just like maybe a lot of good little ideas that just aren't coming together. I don't know. And it's like $20 for a skin for your mount, because a big thing in this is like you ride your horses around, but you can like make it a bear or a griffin or all these sorts of things. But it's like $20 to customize the shit.
Hmm.
Um, so it's super expensive. Like some of the stuff's wildly priced. I don't think the heroes in and of themselves are all that creative either. Everyone only has like one basic ability and an ultimate ability. So there's not a lot of depth to any of the characters' kits or anything like that. So, and the gameplay loop is just slow and not very fun either. So, uh, but I knew as soon as we played it, dude, I knew as soon as we played it, I was like, Larry's gonna love this because it's the same gunplay as like Apex, because it's made by the
It's
same
made by some,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's made by the guys who made Titanfall and Apex. And Wild Light Entertainment is the name of it. But yeah, they have 18,000 reviews right now, sitting at mostly negative on Steam at 35%. So not good. Which leads me to a question for you, Seth. We have Overwatch right now. We have Marvel Rivals, obviously. We have some other games in this kind of hero shooter genre. Deadlock is Valve's new thing, which kind of mixes um, the MOBA with the hero shooter. Do you think and obviously we have like Apex and stuff. Do you think there's space for another hero shooter?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, I could certainly be proven wrong. I think these things do kind of like when something's a hit, it does kind of tend to sneak up. You don't see it coming from a mile away. I didn't see myself loving Marvel Rivals this much a year later or so. I don't know. This it's complicated because like there's only so much time in the day. That's kind of the issue that I find myself struggling with the most as a person who likes to play lots of different stuff. Is that like I love story games. I think like I love playing through like a solid narrative. I love playing through like a crappy game you can burn through in an afternoon. I love like 100-hour RPG, and like in the midst of doing all these things, you've got these little live service games that like just suck away your time and your energy and your money, right? For better or for worse. So like Rivals for me takes up most of my gaming time if I had to probably put like a clock on it. Um, but there's also Fortnite to juggle, which is a totally different vibe. There's just in the hero shooter space, there's Overwatch, there's this, there was formerly Concord briefly there out there somewhere. And really like that's just playing one of those, if you are really into it, is going to take up most of that time. You still got to eat, you've still got to sleep, you still got to poo poo and pee pee and do other odds and ends. You got to go get groceries, and hopefully you have to go to work if you're a grown adult or
And
something
take a
like
take a
that.
shower
Take a
occasionally.
shower,
Yeah.
preferably,
Yeah.
from time to time. Maybe like every 6 or 7 days, something like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't know. Like I think this is the problem that we always run into, though. I think there haven't been as many paladins. I forgot paladins, and then there was
Hmm.
another one too. This is a problem we run into. It's just like something catches on, and then everybody somehow like it's not that like they happen overnight. Like these things all kind of started cooking around the same time or so, give or take a year or something like that. And they just kind of come to fruition. The games come out either all around the same time or like in kind of sporadically over a few years. And I don't know, again, like it's just there's not enough time, there's not enough incentive, I think, to really play a lot of the new stuff. Like if you find something you love, it's really hard to let it go, especially if you've invested like lots of time and money into an environment like that. Like Rivals, if nothing else, I'm playing that game until it dies because I have dropped at least a cool, couple hundred or something like that in there, which is insane for me. Something I never thought I would say for any game other than like a collector's edition or something like that.
Yeah. I think there's always space for imaginative iterations on specific genres. And I do think High Guard is trying to do that, right? This isn't like a 6v6 hold the point, 6v6 push the cart. Like the objectives and the gameplay loop I think they're going for is creative and something that if done well, I think I would be interested in. But um for this game in particular, there's just nothing in it that really screamed fun that I can't get anywhere else, which is what I really look for in a game at this point.
Hmm.
And Rivals gives me that sort of fun that I can't get anywhere else. I'm playing these heroes that I've known since I was a kid. Like, there's the team up system and uh, the third person perspective. I feel like I'm good at it. All those sorts of things kind of amalgamate into this thing that gets its hooks in me. But I'm with you. Like when it comes to games like this, where it's like I'm gonna have to invest time to unlock things or time to or money to like invest in my characters and want to personalize my stuff. I have to be given a reason to do those things beyond just like, oh, it's a new game in the genre. And I think High Guard just misses a lot of those marks for me in terms of its execution. But yeah, I don't know, man. This is the problem with a lot of modern game development, right? Is like there's so few companies that are not like indie companies that are investing a lot of time and effort into tight experiences. Every game wants 100% of your attention. And I think because of that, we should approach these with a lot more scrutiny, right? And expect more out of the things that they're not just cash grabs. Not that High Guard is, I don't think, um, but yeah. They need to be doing something truly special for me to invest the amount of time and energy that they want me to in their titles.
Mhm.
And then the last thing I'll mention this week, Seth, is I've been playing 2KX or 2XKO, um, and which is the Riot Games fighting game. Uh, I see myself playing it a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you do, buddy. I've got to get into it. I brought the team fight stick home for the long weekend. I haven't really messed with it any yet, but I think I did download that when I saw you playing it, and so I'm gonna try to. I say I'm gonna try to get good. I'm probably not, but I'm gonna dabble. I'm gonna dick around with that fight stick a little bit and play some of this game. Hopefully with you, that would be nice. Kind of
yeah,
do like
yeah. That'll be
some
fun.
round robin sparring.
Yeah. Well, dude, you can play two players on a team too. So,
Ooh,
um,
okay.
so
Take
yeah,
on the world.
yeah. But we won't get into much more of that because it's a fighting game and that's not what this podcast is about. So let's move on to the news, Seth. And our first item, as always, are the new skins coming to the shop. We got two: the new Queen of Diamonds Emma Frost and the Ace of Spades Angela skins are coming to the game. Uh, Seth, what do you think about these?
Well, I can tell you, they are already sold. I've got a spot in my wallet waiting for them. I love the look of both of these. The Emma's just classic Emma, man. This is exactly something that Emma. This is exactly a look for Emma, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And the Angela one, I think is super cool too. I don't really get the whole like card theme that they're going for. I guess it's a thing you can do, sure. Um, but I mean, I think both are six scans. I love like the button up trousers thing that she has on. The cool like addition to the spear kind of looks like a trident almost, just from like a certain angle. I don't know if there's a third side to that thing or not, but it could be cool. I love the kind of metallic look of the wings. It's a 10 out of 10 for me on both of these skins.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the because I think the trailers for both of these have come out, and I'm not
Hmm.
sure. Have you watched both of the trailers?
Yes.
I know that Emma skin doesn't have any effects on it. Does the Angela?
I didn't catch it when I watched it, but I mean, I could be mistaken. I tend to not look too deeply into these, but I didn't notice one like at a glance, and I feel like they're usually pretty obvious when you look at them.
Yeah, no, it definitely did not have any visual effects. So I'm assuming it doesn't have any audio effects either. So, um, yeah, I like these skins too. I don't play a ton of Angela, but I do like to tank it up most of the time. But Emma's one of my favorite tanks to play, so I'll definitely be getting that skin. Have you seen the amount of people that are just like kind of fed up with the Emma designs though?
No, no, I mean, I'm not surprised because people both tend to love and hate sex, but whatever. Talk to me.
So the main thing that let me see if I can find the Reddit post actually, because I have my internet hardwired now, which has been awesome. I can just open links without worrying about Seth never hearing me again. But uh, let me see. That post was up high here. Anyway, basically what it boils down to is everyone's frustrated at the lack of creativity mostly with the skin. They don't particularly mind that they kind of took some liberties with Emma's overall design, but it's just why does every skin have to have like shoulder pads, thigh high boots, and like the coattails or whatever? And there's just not been as much creativity. Here's the post. It's from Elf Girls. I'm going to share it on my screen. Let me actually send you this link, Seth, as well in the show notes. Uh, I'll drop it right below this story. But uh, yeah. So it just says no one every single Emma skin for some reason, shoulder pads, bodysuit, thigh high boots, coattails, and then just shows all the different skins that you have. And I don't know if I would have noticed this had it not been pointed out to me, but I feel like this is pretty consistent with their whole idea of like wanting the silhouettes to be consistent and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like there is a practical reason for that in the game. Like, if every skin is just totally different, then how do you know like quickly, like moment to moment in gameplay, who's who on the battlefield? So I think that tracks. I also think like she's a a queen. Like you just like she's the kind of lady who would be wearing shoulder pads, just being like just a boss. So I think this fits with her 100%. Um, do all her skins kind of tend to embrace her voluptuosity and her everything else? I don't sure. But I mean, when people have a look, I mean, yeah, they're superheroes. Like just about every Spider-Man skin is skin tight, right? And
He's got a mask on.
he's got a mask on, whatever. He's got web shooters or something like that. Like every Wolverine skin, he's kind of grungy looking. What are you gonna do? So I
Look,
don't
I
know.
think
I
it
think
mostly boils down to please get rid of the coattails so we can appreciate the assets.
if that's what it is, I'm 100% for that. If we're just being real, but I don't know. I feel like everybody on the internet's always got to have a problem. So what the hell ever.
That's true too. It's just like, man, things are really going well in the rivals community. No one's been kicked out of a 40K tournament this week. What else can we bitch about? Uh, oh, the
Ass.
Emma skin. We need more ass in this game, as if there's one thing that was lacking. Oh shit, that was loud. My bad, guys. um, yeah. Anyway, uh, both these I'm assuming this is going to be like a $3,400 package of the two or something like that. So this is sold for me as well. Let's move on. We have the Museum of Contemplation map reveal trailer that is out now. New convoy map coming to the game this week. This week, right?
Yes, I think so. The
I think so.
30th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Friday.
That's Friday. Um, Seth, I can't tell you how fucking excited I am for a new map in the rotation. I feel like what's the last map that we got that was in like the competitive rotation?
I think the other Clintar map, the
The
domination
Dom. Yeah, that's
Clintar.
what I was thinking. Um, this one has a very Overwatch vibe to it.
It does, like, just like the kinda like it's kinda got like a retro future aesthetic thing going on. They're like CRT TVs piled up and then the kinda like these old round looking monitors. There's something I couldn't place my finger on it. I haven't really had enough time, I guess, to sit with my thoughts on it. Something seems very, very familiar about this, and I don't know if it's like what you said, if it's Overwatch. Something about like desk placement and windows or something like that makes me kind of think of like what is it, Hall of Jalia, the Black Panther, the Wakanda map. I want to
Mm.
say like the point with which one? I can't think of the name, but like where you're inside and you've kind of got that big pillar in the middle that breaks after
Oh
the
yeah.
first fight. So
Hmm.
um, it kind of something reminds me of some aspect of either that or some part of Hall of Jolly. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Can't put my finger on it. Could be totally off. I don't know.
There's also something very inviting about it not being some goopy Clintar map, you know.
Hmm.
And then like Araca, we got the very like clean line, futuristic thing. I like that this feels like a completely different aesthetic from any of the other um, maps that we have. It kind of gives Fantastic Four vibes, like the
Maybe
movie.
that's what it is. Yeah, something like that. Something was very like just kind of homey, familiar. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm loving it though, and I'm excited that it's coming on Friday. Uh, Let me ask you this, Seth. Going back to what we were talking about with High Guard, how nervous were you that we were going to both fall in love with it and want to play it all the time?
1 out of 10, I'd give it a 6 or 7. No, less than I think I like about 3 or 4. I know you're not going anywhere for a while. I think Marvel Rivals Guang Guang would have to do something just catastrophic to get you off
Yeah,
of,
you'd have to come like kill my dog or something for me to stop playing
yeah,
Rivals.
or like just make some wild political statements or something like that.
Yeah, that'd probably do
Um,
it too. I don't know how
I don't.
much how many thoughts Guang Guang has on American politics.
I don't know, as long as we keep paying him. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm not going anywhere. I think I would play this game. I've got enough like people at school that play this game, and I can like I've got at least my little community I can go with after school and just kind of hang out, be like the unk in the room and just playing video games with the children. And that's part of my job, so it's a good thing. I Yeah, I think even without that, I would still be playing this game. I think I have enough fun just playing quick play matches, loading up, jumping into Annihilation, some 18v18. I mean, and the game is only continuing to grow and expand. So
Hmm.
I love that it's not constantly just that team based aspect now, our communication based aspects. Like there's more stuff that you could do, and there's different stuff that you could do.
For sure. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Even if I would have liked that game, you know, um, wouldn't have been wouldn't have been something that draws me away from this. It just draw me away from some of the other games that I play. Um, but yeah, all right, let's move on to our next story. This one comes from Reddit. I actually saw this story reported on one of those websites that reports on Reddit like it's news. But I thought this was an interesting discussion, Seth, because it's a character that we don't often talk about, right? But worst Yu-Gi-Oh player over on Reddit posted up and said, "For the love of God, NetEase, remove Hawkeye's one shot already. We're 1 year in. He should." I'm guessing he said he shouldn't still be doing this. And then says, "I swear to God, this character is going to kill this game. He's so grossly unfair. He admin lobbies every match. You're only safe from him in competitive because you can ban him. Nettie,
Mm.
stop delaying this already." Has 1,500 upvotes over on the official subreddit, 300 comments, most of which are saying, "Hell yeah, brother." Nerf this gentleman. We tend to ban Hawkeye quite a bit. Seth, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been able to pinpoint exactly when this changed because I think there was a time where he was not so great. We kind of laughed at him like we still tend to laugh at Black Widow, even though like she's gotten better as well. Debatably, we're not going to bring up that whole issue again, but I uh I don't know. This is just I'm sick of him. I love like we've got a student that plays for our team that's pretty good with him. I think they just made Hawkeye Lord. They didn't start playing him until like maybe season 3 or 4, somewhere around there. I'm guessing that's around the time that he started feeling so powerful. But I mean, it's just ridiculous that he can do that kind of stuff and so consistently and just I mean, pow pow pow. I think he was that bad game that we played the other day. He was another primary reason for it. I don't think it was just you. It was that they kind of got really aggressive. Their Hawkeye got really aggressive and was just like one shot sniping both supports
Hmm.
as soon as we could get out of spawn. It was insane.
Yeah, so he did get the season 5 buff, and I think this is what made him such a terror, with his max focus increasing from 75 to 90. So just giving him the that added added damage. Um, yeah, I don't know. NetEase at one point had talked about how they really didn't want like one shot, one kill characters in Marvel Rivals, and it does feel like Hawkeye kind of flies in the face of that design choice because of what you're talking about. Um, but I do think that these sorts of games have space for those one shot characters, but they have to be able to be countered, and I think there's just too many maps with too many long ass sight lines to get to where you need to go to make Hawkeye easy to counter as a one shot, one kill character, because he's not like a Black Widow, where like if you jump on him, he can't really do anything. Like he can still do tons of damage from close up as well. So I don't know. I think that there might be room for a character like this, but you need to give him, uh, you know, maybe it needs to take longer for his shots to fully charge, so that he can't kind of burst you down if you jump on him so quick. Um, but also, just when you have a character like this who he's the only one that can do it, he becomes kind of a must pick, must ban sort of character in a meta.
Hmm.
Um, So yeah, I don't know. I think I'd like to see some Hawkeye changes coming, and put him more in like the hella category where it's like reward him for being able to consistently hit back to back shots from a distance. Give him some more damage fall off, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I certainly think that he's one of the worthy bands of this season.
Definitely.
All right, let's move on to our topic of the day, Seth. We're kind of in the mid-season lull here, waiting on information about what's to come and all that sort of thing. And so I want to start opening up to our audience more and giving them opportunities to kind of ask questions and suggest topics about what they want us to talk about. So we're going to start doing, I don't know how often we'll do this, but like mid-season mailbags or something like that, where people can join our Discord, ask questions about rivals, about anything, about, I don't know, Seth, what would you want them to ask about?
Girth,
Mm,
um,
hmm.
depth,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yep. So feel free to join our Discord, drop questions in there, and we will be sure to try to tackle some of them. Our first question actually comes from Spotify from Landon, who says, "Is the Jeff hate valid?" Question mark. I'm a Jeff main myself, and I feel like he is unfairly grouped into the category that is Mantis and Adam. I'm assuming he means like triple sport merchants. I
Mhm.
recently played a ranked game that went so long into overtime that I was able to ult twice and ended the game with MVP and 35k plus healing. Is the hate valid, or is the average Jeff player just a bot?
I personally don't think the hate has been valid since like season 2 or so. Definitely not since they kind of changed his primary fire to where he damages and heals at the same time. I think that's just like astronomically awesome that he's able to do that and just kind of have such a damage and healing spread kind of go on at the same time. I think he's great. I've done that myself as a kind of like a temporary Jeff main for a while. Do you just have those games where his ult? It's easy to whiff. Um, after the game was out for 2 weeks, people were able to kind of read that, just like you can just pretty much anybody's ult in some ways. To a degree, it's like you're able to kind of escape it, but you can also get just good enough with it to where you can make it almost inescapable. And so, especially with like the weird kind of parameters of like what catches you with that ult. So, I've had plenty of clutch games that have been won just based on having a Jeff on the team. You do have to kind of think like we talked about how he's kind of a cloak and dagger earlier, is like you have to aim a little bit, but as long as you're in the ballpark, you're pretty much set. Um, I think you do have to be careful to like if you're going to maximize your potential with him, you do have to think about where you're shooting from. Are you able to kind of get an angle to where you can hit as many of both teams, as many players from both teams as possible at any given time? So I do think that he kind of stands out from Adam and Mantis in particular. I think Mantis can stand out on her own as well a little bit in a two support comp. But I think if I had to pick one of those three to go in a two support, I think it would be Jeff all the way.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Jeff kind of suffers a little bit from. I don't think he's so much of a kind of triple support merchant as much as he is just like an MVP merchant, and I think that Jeff tends to give a lot of false positive reinforcement to terrible play styles. And so you
Mhm.
just have a lot of Jeffs with a lot of bad habits, right? Because they think my number is high, I have a bunch of assists, I've done a bunch of damage. When in reality, you just kind of stumble into that with Jeff in a lot of ways. It's more about like with he's got an ult that it's like, hey, if we're gonna switch off of having, a cloak and dagger, an invis, a Luna ult, one of those kinds of things, a gambit ult, something like that, and you're going to play a Jeff instead. You better know how to get value out of that ult. And too many people with Jeff, I think, play for the big eat rather than the valuable eat. And when you're trying to swallow a clumped up group of 5 people, oftentimes you don't get anyone. Whereas
Mm.
if you'd rather just like try to confirm a swallow on like their back line to get a support or something like that, there's a lot more value in that. I do think that Jeff also was sort of a troll pick until he got his healing pool during his ult, right? Because his ult used to be you just took a support out of the fight, and
Yeah.
you didn't have him, you know. Um, but yeah, I think Jeff kind of suffers just because I think it's easy for bad players to think that they're really good at the game when they're playing as Jeff, when in reality they're just like that's just his kit. Um, but I think if you're playing him well, uh, I don't think that hate is valid.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. 100%.
And Jeff's always going to be in a hard place just because there's other healers you get more value out of, like I just listed the four big ones, right?
Hmm.
There's very few reasons why you wouldn't want to have any of those over Jeff.
Right.
Nick Tacto over on our Discord says, "How do you guys feel about the Deadpools? This can be either playing as or with them. I haven't played them besides 18v18, but it seems like when I have them in my actual games, they do a lot to accomplish a little. However, I keep hearing everyone talk about how good tank pool and support pool are. I'm not accounting for the sport ult bug. Have you guys had any success playing as him or enjoy having him on your team? Because I can confidently say I do not." Before we answer this question, Seth, I want to say something. Can we as a
Hmm.
community arrive at, I don't care what we call tank pool, I don't care what we call DPS pool or whatever, but if we have support pool and it's Deadpool, doesn't calling him supple seem like it's much more in line with his character? I
I
feel like
think
he
he
would
would like
want to
that.
be, yeah, he would want to be called supple, right?
I mean, I could see it, but might have to go to Guang Guang for permission for that.
Yeah, we'll we'll do a letter campaign. Uh, but Seth, how do you feel about the Deadpools?
I mean, I could take him or leave him. I'm glad they're there. I think having him in the game does a lot to kind of bring people in. And people have had a lot of fun with him. I definitely don't. I'm not like enthusiastic when we have one. I'm just either like, well, we'll see what happens, or I'm just kind of groaning, grunting, like, all right, whatever. Let's do what we can. I haven't seen enough like top notch Deadpool gameplay. He's very rarely in my matches, at least the ones that I've seen. He's not usually an MVP or anything like that. That's still kind of falling into some of the same old characters that you tend to see. So I think he can be played well, sure, and I've seen him played pretty well, but not enough to make me want to ban him or make me want to play him any more than I already have.
Yeah, we kind of play in like the sweatiest trudges of ranked where it's like I think we play amongst a group of people who all think that they should be celestial and are trying everything in their might to get there. So I don't think like where we're at, you see a lot of experimentation with the meta. They're just kind of playing what other people think is good or what they feel really comfortable with. And
Mhm.
Deadpool's just one of those complicated characters where I feel like a lot of people think about him the same way that Nick Tacto does, where it's like I'm doing a lot to just accomplish a little bit. Especially like support pool, I don't think the healing feedback is quite as satisfying as some of the other healers. So you can be doing a lot of healing without really realizing you are necessarily. Um, so I think in our ranks, you're right. We don't see him picked a lot. We don't see him banned a lot. And when we do, I think he just kind of fits as any of the other characters in those roles would. I don't feel overwhelmed or anything like that by him. So yeah, I don't know. But when it comes to like the individual pools themselves, um, I do like tank pool. And the more I watch people play at a higher level with Deadpool, the more I like him, where they'll like use his bubble to isolate a low target enemy so that they like deny healing from him. And I think
Hmm.
that's a really cool like use of that and kind of fits into Deadpool's character anyway. Um, I also think I like the fact that he has his pistols and can kind of deal damage from range as a tank, and there's not a whole lot of other tanks that have that capability. Um, but I feel like the support pool is the one where I don't really get it. I'm sure he is good if he's piloted well, but I feel like most of the people I play with aren't piloting him well.
Yeah.
Uh, So yeah, and as far as like the actual game, I don't think I played a ton of Deadpool in like the 6v6. Um, but then Ethan Brooks follows up on the Deadpool conversation, says, "What's one nerf that you'd give to Deadpool, either overall or individual role of him?" And this might be a nerf or maybe just a change to him, Seth.
Um, I don't know that he needs a nerf. I mean, other than maybe like the stuff to his like jumping and his his heal support
Hmm.
bug that's going on. I don't really know that he's great enough to really need a nerf. I think if anything, he might need some minute buffs in some areas, but nothing's really speaking to me right there with him.
I think the only nerf that I would do is for the support. I would maybe put his initial ult on a timer so you can't like cheese farm it.
Mm.
But outside of that, I don't know how much more I would change either. Like DPS pool doesn't feel all that oppressive to me. I think there's other characters that can get things done. Um, and yeah, I think tank pool feels like he's in a good spot. I think the support pool is really the only one I really touch.
Yeah.
Um, and then Ethan Brooks official over on oh, this is the same guy. uh, I just noticed that. Over on Discord asked, do you guys think the museum is a way for the devs to tease the players? With the Easter eggs of the museum map like Devil Dinosaur, Cosmo, the Infinity Gauntlet, and others in glass boxes, would we see the boxes just shattered one day and everyone's like, where's the Infinity Gauntlet? Then they come out with with an animation of Thanos coming in and stealing it, for example, like in game events, like the in-game event Deadpool switching role thing was. So Seth, the question here is, do you think they're using the museum to tease things to come?
I mean, I think they could, for sure. I still kind of don't think, like, just mentioning Thanos in particular, I kind of don't think that they're bringing those god tier characters into the game, at least as playable characters. Like, how do you have like Null come into the game when he's already like part of a map or whatever? I guess there's a multiversal explanation or something like that. Um, I don't know. I do think that this map could be used for that. I didn't see, maybe I just wasn't looking at it with the careful eye that I should have, but I didn't notice as many Easter eggs just on kind of like a glance at the trailer as I thought I would. But getting in there and exploring the map may kind of like be a whole different ball game. So I don't know. I kind of hope they do. I feel like this is a wasted opportunity if they don't do something like this. But there's only one way to find out. We're gonna have to see and talk it out Friday evening.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to work the same way like Times Square works, right? Where some of the stuff is Easter eggs for things that are coming, and then I think the other stuff is just, hey, it's a Marvel universe, and we have all of this stuff at our disposal to leverage and to kind of build out the storytelling of the world. So, I wouldn't assume that everything that we see in this map is something like hinting at something that we're going to get in the future.
Yeah, it's kind of easy to get into that MCU mindset where like you see Easter eggs and you're like, oh, it's that thing, and then that means that this is going to happen later. Because I think this game does a great job in a lot of ways of just acknowledging the existence of the larger Marvel universe and not necessarily like leaning into that or using it as a hype tool. Like, we've got the Cerebro helmet and Krakoa and the Xavier statue. We haven't really heard a lot about him or seen much of him in any way other than that. You could kind of look at it as a tease. Maybe he's going to show up in the game at some point, but also could be years. Same kind of thing with like Devil Dinosaur and stuff like that. Like they're there, and plus we've got like accessories that have characters that, like some of us have never heard of that are kind of deep cuts in the comic lore. And we're not seeing or hearing anything about those characters. There's so many of these things that I think that like you can't really look at it as like, oh, that means they're coming to the game. They're going to be playable one of these days. Like I think it just kind of acknowledges like the depth. It's more of like a demonstration of love and understanding for the content than it is hey, look what's coming, or hey, like you can just keep buying movie tickets to the theater, so you can come, like ride this hype train with us. Just kind of like makes it a better place for Marvel fans to be.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with all that. You said something interesting though, Seth, that you don't think they're going to bring these like god tier villain characters as playable characters. So like Thanos, Doctor Doom, Null, you don't think any of those are going to eventually come?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that would be really cool. If you do, I think you have to do it with a lot of tender love and care. You have to do it in a very particular way, so they're not just ridiculously overpowered or whatever. Um, I don't know. I kind of think that maybe they work better as set pieces than they do as actual characters within the game. Could be cool to have one drop here and there, but I don't know. I kind of just like having them be like a big part of the story and a big part of the lore, not necessarily somebody that you have to play as. But I don't know. I mean, I would, I'm honestly, if you give me Thanos, I'm gonna play as Thanos. I'm gonna play the hell out of him. I would love to play. One of the reasons I'm excited for Fighting Souls, the Marvel fighting game coming out, is playing as Doctor Doom, kind of like the old Capcom games, and just having fun shooting magic beams and punching the crap out of people with my metal gauntlets. So I'm in for whatever they want to do. I think the fact that we, after a year, we don't really have any of those god tier characters, not even one, makes me think that that's the direction we're going in. Or, if anything, it's going to be very, very few and far between that we get these types of characters in,
Mhm. Except Squirrel Girl,
I guess.
most powerful character in the Marvel universe.
Mm.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for the questions that were sent in for us this week. If you want to have your questions answered, feel free to join our Discord. We'll I don't know, might start like a mailbag channel or something that people can just toss stuff in as we go forward, and we'll come to it. So ask some timeless stuff in there. Ask some stuff about what's going on in the game currently, and we'll next time we roll around to one of these episodes, we'll pull from those questions. But all right, well, let us get out of here, Seth. Seth, what are you hoping to accomplish in Marvel Rivals this week?
I would like to hit diamond. Still gonna push. This is the season I think we need to push for Grandmaster at least. So that's the overall goal. I've been really inspired by my students. They've been like spending this whole ice break. I check like the team Discord, and they're constantly like 4 or 5 people at least in there playing Marvel Rivals together, like all the time. They went over the course of like 30 some hours. They went from like nobody had finished placement matches that were like projected for high gold to they're all like mid to high diamond. They're working on GM as we speak within like a day or so. So keep it up, team, and you're inspiring me to want to play more and grind it out to get on your level.
I'm down with that as a goal to get to diamond. I do think we can, push for GM this season. I went back and looked at some of my past seasons, and there was like one season where I played like 4 ranked matches.
Yeah,
uh,
same here.
so it feels good that like even investing a little bit of time that we're doing now, we are climbing. So um, all right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. We appreciate you tuning in, listening to us wherever you're listening to us. Make sure you're subscribed and following. Leave a comment and a like, share it with a friend of yours. You can follow us also on social media at Rival Banter on Instagram and TikTok. Also, make sure you join our Discord server, hang out with some other cool fans of Marvel Rivals, and talk about the game. And that's going to do it. So until next week, guys, good luck in your games. Good luck on your climb. We love you. Goodbye.
Love you so much.